UK Forum Wales, thank you very much for joining us on BBC Radio Wales Breakfast this morning.
It's just about 8:15 now, and the family of a Flintshire woman who was killed by her partner say they will continue to campaign for a change in law in her memory. And this is mother of four, Jade, who was killed by her former husband, Russell Marsh. Now, he was jailed for life and ordered to serve at least 25 years behind bars, but he still holds responsibility for the children that he had with Ms. Ward. Well, through Jade's law, her family wanted to have that right removed, but an amendment to the Victims and Prisoners Bill was voted down by the UK government in the House of Commons this week. I'll tell you more about why they did that in due course, but let's speak to Jade's dad, Paul Ward. Good morning, Paul.
Hiya, you okay?
Yes, good, thanks. So you're raising the boys then, while Russell Marsh is serving a long prison sentence of at least 25 years. I'd just be interested to know how he manages to exert, what sort of influence does he seek to exert from his prison cell?
Well, he asked for, recently he's asked for photographs of the boys, which he'll never get. He's been asking for the passports, signed passports, school reports, doctors, just things like that, you know, things which we find absolutely, shocking, really.
He doesn't have the right to receive any of this, though, does he? Are you having to run it past lawyers every time you get a response? What's the legal position?
It'd all be through court. It'd just be through court, so we'd have to apply through court to get all things like the passports done and everything, and it's just financially we just couldn't do it, and we just find that the system's wrong and we need to change, because it's putting us through, the family through, keeping on, him behind his prison cell, dragging things up, and it's just very hard.
You'd like the boys to have no contact with him, would you?
Oh, the boys don't want contact with him. They've strictly said they don't want no contact with him at all, and it's their choice. So, we want the law changed.
How old are they now, Paul?
11, 10, 4 and 3.
No, I understand. It's hard to keep track sometimes. Because what we spoke to the UK government, to the Justice Department this morning about this and why they felt why the UK government couldn't support this amendment, and they felt that, well, I'll tell you what they say now, they're looking at how they can find a quicker way to cut off parental rights for these killers, but they say judges are required to put the welfare of children first and can already effectively remove all rights and powers from a parent who's murdered the other, but and they understand the pain suffered by victims. So their line seems to be that these things are best dealt with through a court, that those judgments can be made and are made, but there may well be cases where this isn't appropriate. Why do you think a blanket removal of those rights would be the right way to go?
No, it would be. No, they've only ever it's only ever happened 3 times in 100 years. Is it?
No, since 1989.
Since 1989, the parental rights have been took off 3 times. So they're saying you can automatically do it. Well, obviously they don't, and they haven't, and I'm not with this case.
Yeah, you're speaking just to let people know. I think you've got Edwin with you, haven't you? Edwin Duggan, who's author of the petition, who's been working with you. Edwin, do you want to come in here as well? Just to
better on legal stuff now.
Because when the UK government say, it'd be good if it could happen quicker, but this wasn't the way to do it. What do you say to that?
Well, I watched the process unfolding on Tuesday, and the minister that was there, Edward Argar, he was there at the initial debate in November of last year, And they came out with the same excuse that they came out with on Tuesday that they did in November. The Ministry of Justice seemed to suggest that whilst the courts are able to exercise their power and remove parental responsibility, in fact this is a very rare occurrence. It's only happened in the last, since 1989 when the Children's Act came into play. It's happened only 3 times, and those 3 times were not connected to any murder at all. It was more to do with sexual cases where the perpetrator had been prevented to have a parental responsibility because.
Yeah, and Paul, so the sense I get is that you found that you just didn't have the ability to pursue this through the court to get this judgment, did you?
No, this is not. This is the actual petition was started in order to reverse the onus from the family having to attend court and to make these applications to the prisoner. It's a simple exercise. It's a case of.
Yeah, I totally understand. So at the moment it's down to the family to pursue the ruling.
Yes.
If you remove it automatically and then say to the prisoner, well, if you want to challenge that and then seek to have that responsibility restored, then that's down to you to do it. I'm just trying to get understanding.
I worded the petition purposely so it wouldn't conflict with the Human Rights Act. And this is the excuse that the Ministry of Justice keep on coming out with. They keep on saying, well, there's a conflict. They keep on saying that the children there may be a detriment to the child or the children involved. Well, if the truth be known, the risk was given to the children by the mere fact that the father murdered their mother. I mean, if in this particular case, where there were 4 children involved, if they hadn't have had the family that they have, they could have ended up in the care system. They could have been split up. They could have been all over the country. It's only the mere fact in this particular instance where there's a big family network that the children are still with the family. It could have been far worse.
Well, thank you both very much. Thank you to you, Paul, and also to Edwin for stepping in from the wings there. Thank you both very much. And I say you keep on keeping on, don't you? So we'll follow the story. Thank you very much. Paul,
Thank you. Cheers.
Paul Ward and Edwin Duggan.
It is 22 minutes past 8 now.
BBC Radio Wales Travel.